Brown and her unwillingness to answer what is a woman. And I understand some people think that that was a trap question, but if we can understand that most basic question, how can we make laws? It's a legitimate question if you can't define something so basic. So I changed the title of this video as I'm posting it on YouTube instead of my Instagram page. And I just want to give this little intro here ahead of the video. So renaming it, What is Woman and What is Catness? Aristotle defines universals. So we need to know what universals are. So universals are very, very important. A universal would be our ability to know the nature or natures of things that are the same kind of thing. So you can know a particular cat, and from your experience of cats, you can figure out what Catness is. And I don't mean Katniss Everdeen. So you can come to know the nature of cat, even though each particular cat is different from one another, different color, different size, different shape, different, etc., different breed. You can know the nature of what a cat is, and that is what universals are. I can know the nature of tree. I can know the nature of cow. I can know the nature of everything, right? Plato taught Aristotle, okay? Plato believed that universals actually exist outside on their own. Like you could, like there's Catness somewhere out there, outside of particulars, right? That there's the perfection of Catness out there. Now, Aristotle does not believe this, and I think his argument's actually better. So there is such a thing as Catness, the nature of being a cat, but we don't see perfect Catness out there floating in the ether somewhere, right? Or a perfect example of like bigness or redness, right? It's always in a particular thing, but we can extrapolate what defines it, what gives it its nature, right? We have another thinker who comes along, William of Ockham, and he's actually a Franciscan friar. So he's a religious man, a Catholic, and he, in the 1200s, states that universals don't really exist. It's our way of coming up with like an ideal that we think a particular should match, right? So we encounter cats and we have, this ideal version of what a cat is in our head. And that's how we extrapolate, like, oh, this is a cat, and I can say, these cats have this in common just because I have this like idea in my head of what I think a cat should be. This is also a wrong way I think of thinking about it, because again, it puts emphasis on you and like the creative idea, almost like the nature is the same as art, right? Where you have an idea of a painting in your head of what it should look like, and then you try and make that idea become a reality when you paint or sculpt or whatever. And it never quite actually matches unless you're an amazing artist, one of the greatest of all time. Your actual piece of art's never going to match what is in your mind about it. And that's the issue, I think, with William of Ockham's approach, is it makes our idea the standard of what this should be. In reality, it's we're looking for a common nature that different cats can share, even though there's diversity among them. Then we're going to get into, there's David Hume, who really influences us today, and William of Ockham kind of paves the way for this too, but a theory called Nominalism. And we really need to know about Nominalism because it influences us today a lot more than we realize. So Nominalism, basically, the idea is like we have words to describe different things as if they are the same kind of thing, but it's really just us making up words. That's kind of crazy because we're thinking, well, words have to mean something, right? They have to signify a reality external to us, otherwise we wouldn't be able to communicate anything. Like imagine if you were like, I'm gonna go get some gas, and gas didn't actually mean anything. It just meant that I have a particular experience of something that resembles gasoline in my car. I can't even say it resembles gasoline. I have an experience of something, and I think that when I go to different gas stations that I'm getting the same kind of thing, but it's really me feeling like there's something in common. In reality, there's just the particulars. So that seems crazy, but that influences us a lot today when we think about how human nature is defined, right, in our modern society. we've gotten to where we basically say human nature is kind of whatever you want it to be. If you want to be this, you do that. If you, are a human that, thinks you're actually a fox, feel free to act like a fox. If you think you're a Catholic, be a Catholic. If you think that you should just maximize pleasure, minimize pain, do that. There's not a standard of human nature of how we should be. And obviously I'll give a further critique of why I think that's a wrong way of looking at things later on. But I'm just showing how these ideas of universal versus particular and whether or not we can know them really influences us today.